personally myself that was shot. In October of 2017, after that mass shooting, you said it was an Islamic terrorism, and you never apologized for that, instead insisting that you heard about the connection from a credible news source. Are you willing to apologize to people in the Muslim community for saying it was Islamic terrorism?
Now, this is a perfect example of what I think about ambush journalism. What has this interview got to do with October 1st? Nothing. I've put out 28,000 tweets. You've just picked one. This is what the liberal media does every day. In my entire
it's something
life,
you said.
Out of 28,000 tweets, you guys have found 4 of them that you find objectionable. And by the way, here's the good news. I'm going to answer you. Nobody has ever bothered to ever ask me when they attack me. No liberal media has ever said, hey, Wayne, what's your response to what we said about you? Nobody ever wants to give you a chance to respond.
I'm giving you a chance.
You just did, so I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
I responded on my show last night. Did you know that? For no reason at all.
Didn't.
I just brought it up because someone had texted me something that was going on in Las Vegas, and I said, you know what? I'm going to mention it on the air, but I have no idea if it's true. And if anyone knows if it's true, if there's anyone in law enforcement that knows if it's true, please call the show, whether on the air or off the air. Here's the phone number, because I never want to be caught again. In my whole life, I've only been caught one time saying something that turned out to be not true. And that was because I was in Park City with my fiance on the night of the Vegas terror attack, had just gone to sleep, was lying in my bed. My phone exploded. Suddenly, there were hundreds of texts and emails and calls. I get up from a sound sleep, and this is now like at 10:15. Minutes after the shooting has started, my audience that listens to my show, Brian, happens to be a large percentage of Metro cops in this town. They love me. And so I had all these cops saying, Wayne, it's 9/11. We're under massive attack up and down the Strip. There's reports in every hotel of shooters in the lobby. This has to be a 9/11 Islamic terrorist attack. It has to be ISIS.
Okay, fair enough, which wasn't true.
And by the way, let me tell you the second thing they told me. Hundreds of people shot and killed at Mandalay Bay. When no one in America knew it, I turned on the TV at that moment, and they were reporting like 3 shot, no deaths so far confirmed. I knew there were hundreds of bodies and wounded. So
but, Wayne, I'm with you. Wayne, I'm with you.
Emotional and hysterical.
I get it, Wayne. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Right.
A lot of people that day didn't know what was going on. People thought that there were shooters in other casinos. That's not the part.
Telling me what was going
I get it. So I'll go back to my original question. Are you willing to apologize to?
I'm going to answer you. You're the first person in the entire United States media who's ever said, by the way, was that tweet like minutes after the attack, during the attack? Were you in the middle of thinking you could save people's lives by warning them what was happening? Not one person ever bothered to ask that question. So I'm going to give you credit, even though I think this is an ambush. I'm still going to give you credit.
No, it's not an ambush at all.
Well, it is, because how would you like it if I found the one tweet that you ever put out that you felt bad about?
I wouldn't get defensive, and I would answer it. I wouldn't get defensive, and I would answer it.
Yeah, well, I'm answering it. I just did.
Okay, so don't attack me for ambushing you. You just said that you've only said. Hold on, I get it. I felt
bad because it obviously was not correct.
Okay, but Wayne, you said this yourself 5 minutes ago. You said I've only been wrong once. You said that Democrats were paid off by Mexican drug cartels to oppose Trump's border. Where is your proof? Where is your proof of that?
Do you know to be not true that all the campaign contributions to the Democrats, not one penny of it has ever come from someone who liked the wall to not be there so they can continue?
What Mexican drug cartel paid off a Democrat? Give me one specific example, please.
I don't need to give you an example.
Because you don't have any, that's why. Because you don't have any.
Brian, my opinion is, that's why I've become a major national...
How do you form an opinion without a fact?
My opinion is Democrat Party is absolutely the favored party of Mexican cartels and Mexican...
And where's your proof of that? You make a claim like that, you got to have proof. That's why people call you a conspiracy theorist.
I didn't come on for a shouting match or a debate. I thought you were...
So you don't want to answer... You don't want to be held responsible for things you said. You said Obama and Hillary Clinton have had gay relationships. Where's your proof of that? Yeah, it's not funny. What if somebody said that about you and your family? Would you laugh?
28,000 tweets, and you tried to find 4 of them.
No, I've got more. I've got about 20 more. Would you like to hear more? Why don't you defend some of your ridiculous tweets?
28,000 I could counter you with that were all perfect, fantastic.
You said calling somebody old is comparing it to using the N-word. Would you like to defend that tweet as well? Now I'm up to 5.
Oh, say that again. Let me hear that again. I want to hear that one.
You said somebody calling you old, there's no difference in when you call someone old versus when you call somebody the N-word. Would you like to defend that tweet?
Here's the real story. Let's go to the backstory. When I look at my responses on Twitter first of all, I'm 58 years old. I look great. I feel great. I look better than most 30-year-olds. And so when I look at my responses on Twitter, liberals never argue politics. They always say nasty things.
What does this have to do with liberals? You're comparing the word old to the N-word. That's irresponsible.
It's a horrible thing to say to someone, hey, you old man.
So you want to compare calling somebody old to the N-word, and now you're willing to defend that on KDWN?
Both are disgusting.
Do you realize how ridiculous that is?
To treat people. Both.
So to all African Americans, calling somebody old to you is the same as, just to be clear here, the same as the N-word.
I grew up in an all-black town, all-black
neighborhood. That has nothing to do with it. That has no.
The good news is I've never used the N-word, and I find it disgusting and morally repugnant. But you know what? I see lots of racism against white people in America, lots of racism against Jews in America by the Democrat Party, lots of hatred of Israel by the Democrat Party, and lots of hatred by young people who are liberals in this country towards anyone over the age of 50. Disgusting, disrespectful talk. Hey, old man, I hate you. Go to hell. I hope you die of stomach cancer. I've gotten so many thousands of those at this point that, yes, I do believe it's a horribly disgusting way to think about life, to call someone who's 50 years old and washed up. It's disgusting, it's offensive, and it's rude, and it's really just a mindset of young people who don't know anything yet because they're too young to understand life, that one day they're going to be that same age. And
so you think I'm too young to understand life at 39 years old, that I believe that the N-word is the most disgusting word in the dictionary, and I would never compare it to calling somebody old, and you think I don't understand life for having that opinion?
The N-word's right up there at the top. Absolutely.
With calling you old.
And so are lots of other words.
All right, well, we'll just agree to agree. That's fine.
If you're 80 years old, old's probably not a terrible word to call someone because you are elderly and senior at the age of 80.
See, to me, it's like calling me bald. Like I'm Wayne.
Death and says, "I hope you die of stomach cancer."
Wayne, I'll compliment you.
I have a right to be upset.
Wayne, I'll compliment you. You have a great head of hair.
Why don't you say that Wayne Root's the only guy in America who knew that Trump would be elected president, went out on the limb and built an amazing
Well, because
career
you're not.
based on a great prediction?
Because you're not. There are other people in this country that also believed, including Michael Moore, that believed that Donald Trump was going to be elected. Because that would be a lie, Wayne, for me to say you are the only person in the world. Why are you laughing? Michael Moore said it. Ann Coulter said it.
I love Andrew Paul, but he's made one mistake in all the years I knew him, saying you were a nice guy.
So I'm not a nice guy because I challenge you? I'm not a nice guy because I challenge you on the air?
A putz.
Oh, so now you're going to name call me. See? So you're going to apologize. So you're going to name call me, but yet you were angry for me name calling you. That's called a hypocrite, Wayne.
A different word I used than the words you used, my friend.
Do you think every liberal is gay? Because you've said that before as well. You've said every liberal you believe is a homosexual. Would you like to apologize to all liberals and homosexuals, or would you like to defend that as well?
Stop with the lies. I've been pro-gay rights.
Oh, really? You never said that? Tell me right now on this show you never said that you believe liberals are homosexuals. Tell me that right now on this show.
Out of context once again.
Oh, I took it out. Yeah, right. I take everything out of context. Right.
I make jokes and I'm entertaining. And
oh, yeah, that's very funny, Wayne. That's very funny to say that. So it's okay for you. Well, guess what, Wayne? When I was on the show yesterday, I made a joke calling you a scumbag. That was just a joke. So did you laugh at that?
I see. I get it.
Did you laugh at? Was that funny to you?
Hey, Brian, I was on the air when someone called me on Newsmax TV and said, Wayne, this person said, I'm a Christian, and I know you're a Jew, and I can't understand why the Jewish people don't love Donald Trump. And I made a little.
You want me to give you the answer to that? I said, would you like me to give you the answer to that? Because I'll answer it as a Jew. You're a right-wing conservative.
I just want to tell you what I said.
You don't. Of course, you don't need the answer.
I said a very funny little answer, a cute little answer. I said, I have no idea why, because in Israel, he's so beloved, he's like the king of the Jews. That quote was taken out of context, and I became the #1 news story, not in America, in the world, Brian, in the world, in the Jerusalem
For about 10
Post,
minutes, yes, you're
in
correct.
Europe, everywhere. Now, it was a little comment meant to be funny and elicit a laugh, and nobody ever asked me, Wayne, what did that comment really mean? And it was just a joke. And you're doing the same thing every liberal media does.
Okay, well, I'm not a liberal, so you can label me all you want to. That would be like me calling you a right-wing conspiracy. But let me say this. I don't believe you're a dumb guy, Wayne. I think you're a smart guy, okay? I believe you say things just like InfoWars to get clicks. Okay, let me finish.
I believe that you were nice enough to apologize.
Okay.
This was never intended as an apology, Brian. It's your way to get a little bit of ratings and to be nasty.
Oh, so I'm using you for ratings. Okay, so you're telling me when you say gays, you're telling me when you say all gays are liberals, it's not to get clicks? When you make these ridiculous jokes and these comments, that's not for ratings and clicks? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
My ratings are through the roof because I'm an entertainer.
Answer the question. When you make these ridiculous claims, it's not about clicks and ratings?
Hey, Brian, there's no reason for you to be nasty. You've proven again today that liberals are
You're not answering my questions, and you called me names. I haven't called you a name.
Thing you've ever said. Do I bring up one bad thing you've ever said? No, because I don't know you. To me, you're an
Because I don't say things like you say. I don't attack people like you attack people. I don't say things because it's my opinion to get clicks. I say things because I actually mean it.
So
excuse me? I don't. Where have I called a Republican and said things about Republicans that you've said about Democrats? I don't say that
Brian,
Republicans were paid off by Mexican drug cartels. And then when hold on a second. I've never said, and by the way, I don't listen to your show either, so thank you for the compliment. I've never said that Republicans are paid off by Mexican drug cartels, and then somebody challenges me, and I say, well, it's just my opinion. You have to have facts to back up an opinion, Wayne. When you say liberals are gay, and then you say, well, it was just a joke.
Based on facts. I thought they were based on opinion. I didn't know that. And by the way, every conservative in America.
Name me something I said that is not a fact. Go ahead. Go into the archives.
Said, Brian, is it's irrational for anyone to believe that a liberal could say there's no crisis at the border. Someone's paying.
Did I say there wasn't a crisis at the border? Of course there's a crisis at the border.
Oh, really?
But saying that, excuse me, saying there's a crisis. See, here's where you back off your comments. When saying there's a crisis at the border and then saying Democrats paid off by Mexican drug cartels, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, are two completely different things.
Really?
Don't change the subject.
I'll bet you're assuming I'm thinking they're paid off in a Swiss bank account, and you know what I'm saying?
Where's your proof?
Contributions to the Democrat Party are very high for a party that claims Republicans are the party of the rich. You guys outspend us. Where's the money coming from?
What do you mean, you guys? What do you mean, you guys?
Why are you so irrationally against the wall when Americans are?
Did I say I was irrational against the wall? Where did I say that?
3,000 Americans.
Where did I say I was against the wall?
So someone doesn't care. Someone is irrational about sanctuary cities, and all I've ever said is I'm a smart guy, and I know somebody's getting money off this.
So would a smart guy say? Would a smart guy say that Heather Heyer, the white at the white nationalist rally, was killed, and you said it was BS, and you said the protesters? Hold on, let me finish. You said on your show that probably paid actors and infiltrators hired by Soros did it.
4 or 5 texts.
See, because you can't. You keep saying 4 or 5. That's your defense. Let me tell you something. If you've been on the air for 40 years. If you've been on the air for 40 years and you say one irresponsible, horrific thing, you should be called out on it. That is a pathetic excuse on your part. You could have a billion tweets, but when you compare, excuse me, no, don't Brian me. When you compare the N-word to calling somebody old, you sound like a fool.
This never happens to liberals because conservatives never.
I'm not a liberal. Don't you call me a liberal. You don't compare the N-word to calling somebody old, you fool.
Hey, Brian.
No, don't you hate Brian me. I've only got 4 or 5 tweets, so it's okay for me to say ridiculous, hurtful things. You're a fool, and you can't defend it, so that's your defense. I've only got 4 or 5 tweets.
My entire 3-hour show each day, most of it.
Yeah, I have an entire 3-hour show, too. Who cares?
Most of it, Brian, it's not a good interview when you scream over your guests. It's really not.
You know what? It's not a good interview because you haven't defended one of your most ridiculous tweets, and in your defenses, you're going after 4 or 5.
I didn't defend the Vegas massacre. Tweet.
Did you defend any of the other? Well, it's ridiculous because you haven't apologized for it. I get the massacre tweet, but you're laughing.
Brian,
will you apologize to Muslims?
I said I talked about it on my own show for a half hour yesterday.
Did you apologize?
I said that I wish I could take it back. Absolutely.
Did you apologize?
No, because I got police information that it was a coordinated.
And now that we know it wasn't true, are you willing to apologize? Yes or no?
Nothing I said that was wrong. It just turned out to be incorrect.
So you didn't say it to be wrong, even though it was wrong days later. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm here to ask you to apologize.
Well, you just brought it up. You haven't apologized for it. I'm sorry?
You're showing what a nasty, petty person you are, and you got.
Oh, I'm nasty and petty because you can't defend your ridiculous tweets, but I'm the nasty, petty one. Let me tell you something. A nasty, petty person compares the N-word to calling somebody old. That's a nasty, petty person. Do you understand where the N-word came from? Do you understand how hurtful it is to African Americans?
10 minutes ago, but I try to be nice and listen to people, but you don't want it. You have no interest.
Okay, defend any of the tweets. I'm listening. Go ahead.
I tried to find common ground between you and I.
We have zero common ground. Zero.
We were supposed to get along. Your general manager, I'm sure, put pressure on you to apologize, and that's why you called me. And you didn't apologize. You turned it into a vicious attack.
You called me names in this. You called me names in this interview. You called me names in this interview. Would you like to apologize for the names you called me? Then we can part ways.
Clearly.
Okay. Well, you know what? If you want to call me a putz, then I think you're a scumbag. Okay. So we're even.
Okay. Brian.
All right? No, it's not okay. If you want to use the courts and you want to sue me for calling you a scumbag, go ahead.
See you later, buddy.
Go ahead and sue me. Yeah, what a jerk. What a jerk.